And now we turn to Iowa, just 3 days out from Monday's first in the nation presidential caucuses. There are still 11 Democrats remaining. Polls show many likely Democratic caucus goers are still undecided. And as national correspondent Stephanie Sy reports, in a state that's predominantly white, candidates in this tight race are trying to tap into the growing minority population.
So can I look to you to spread the sense of hope that is needed in order to bring about change in this country?
This is our time to dream big.
Iowa started the revolution. In Iowa, let's complete the revolution.
The character of the nation is on the ballot.
In this crowded Democratic field, no candidate has broken away from the pack. And a lot of Iowans we spoke to haven't made up their minds.
I'm undecided, and now that it's coming down to the wire, I would like to see that someone could persuade me to have a clear-cut decision.
But there's no lack of enthusiasm here.
This is actually the first time I'm actually going to participate, so I'm looking forward to it. I had the attitude of, it doesn't matter, but our votes matter. So,
for many Iowans, the stakes have never been higher. Veteran Iowa political reporter O.K. Henderson.
They're anxious about this. They sort of feel the weight of the world on their shoulders. I've had people tell me they lay in bed at night thinking about the candidates and which one they think they should choose. So they're really, really wrestling with this choice.
Hello, Tipton, how are you?
And candidates only have a couple days left to convince them.
I'm going to Council Bluffs.
Engaging voters is so essential that Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar took advantage of a break in the president's impeachment trial to dash to Council Bluffs, Iowa for a trip lasting less than a day.
You have 5 leading candidates here, if you include Amy Klobuchar in that mix. And they're all drawing sometimes hundreds and sometimes over 1,000 people at events here in Iowa, which shows you there is interest, there is enthusiasm.
Henderson says the nearly 1,700 precincts are preparing for a record turnout.
The following groups are viable.
Driven partly by new efforts to engage Iowans, like the ones at this mock caucus, that might not normally turn out. That includes a rising number of non-white voters. More than 8 in 10 Iowans are white, but the number of Black, Latino, and Asian residents have multiplied in the last 10 years.
Do you think that Iowa should have as much leverage as it does in choosing the Democratic nominee?
That's a difficult one to ask an Iowan. I would say it seems a little odd to me. I enjoy it because for many years I've gotten to see these candidates come through. But in reality, perhaps we aren't as representative as some other areas of the country.
How many have participated in caucuses before, again?
Alba Perez, a U.S. citizen who immigrated from Honduras nearly 40 years ago, is trying to engage potential caucus goers that are new to the process, holding a sort of Caucus 101 session in Des Moines.
I want the country that adopted me and that I've seen be welcoming to me in many ways, that changed dramatically during the 2016 elections, and a lot of the conversation changed. I don't want to feel insulted. I don't want to feel attacked.
Perez, who is backing Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, believes candidates can no longer ignore minority voters here.
That may not be significant now, but will become significant.
And these campaigns know, in a tight race, every vote counts. Whether it's volunteers making calls at Warren's Iowa City headquarters.
She has a record of showing that she's willing to fight for people.
Or organizing canvassers in a predominantly Black neighborhood, like at this field office for Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders.
Turnout is everything, and we've done a number of great things to make sure that our diverse coalition turns out.
Just across the Cedar River, Pastor Franz Whitfield, the influential head of the Mount Carmel Baptist Church, is an outspoken advocate for Vice President Joe Biden.
I think it's crucial. You have to have the African American vote if you're planning on winning the White House.
In 2016, Pastor Whitfield endorsed Sanders, but this election, his priorities have shifted.
One of the reasons why I decided to change my mind this go around is because we need somebody in the White House who knows what they're doing, someone who doesn't need on-the-job training, And I feel again that Joe Biden is that best choice.
For Whitfield and many Democrats across the country, the #1 priority is beating President Trump.
I'll accept any Democratic selection, period.
I will vote blue no matter who.
I want whoever is electable. I want somebody who can beat Donald Trump.
The problem is no one really knows who that is. It's why so many Democratic caucus goers here in Iowa still seem scared to commit. They're looking beyond this state, stuck in the impossible calculus of trying to figure out who can win in November.